The private investigator I could not afford handed me 2 folders. 2. My wife was not cheating with one man. She was cheating with 2 of them at the same time. And one of those folders ended somebody else's marriage too. This happened here in Georgia. And 8 months after our divorce was final, my ex-wife texted me asking if we could talk. I will get to that text. Let me back up and tell it in order. I am 43 years old. My wife and I were together for almost 20 years, married 11, and we have a son who is in his last year of high school. She owns a staffing agency. She places warehouse crews and front office people all over our part of Georgia. She built something real, but here is the part she liked to leave out of the story. 10 years ago, that agency was a folding table in our spare room and a phone that never rang. I built her first website at night after my shifts. I drove her to meet her first 2 clients because her car was in the shop and mine had gas in it. I co-signed the loan for her first office space. I am not saying I built her business. We did that part together. For 16 years, I worked as a claims adjuster for an insurance company, and then the company bought a piece of software, and that software could read a claim file in 4 seconds, and I could not. That is the whole story of my career ending. Artificial intelligence did not walk into my office and fire me. A man from corporate did, on a video call, with a slide that said the word restructuring on it. My whole department went in the spring. 40-some people, gone, now. Losing a job is one thing. I have been broke before. What I was not ready for was what happened inside my house. It started small. A comment here, a look there. I would have dinner going when she got home, and instead of thank you, I would get, must be nice to have all this time. I applied for jobs every single morning at the same desk where I helped her build her agency, and she would walk past me with her coffee and say, "Any luck?" She told her sister on the phone that she did not sign up to be the only working adult in the house. The man who helped her get her business off the ground was not ambitious enough for her anymore. That is a hard thing to say out loud. And I want to say this next part because it matters later. My son watched all of it. I never said one bad word about his mother to him, not one. But that boy has 2 eyes and 2 ears, and he was 17, not 7. He heard the comments at dinner. Kids keep score even when you tell them not to. Then the bedroom died. And I do not mean it faded. I mean, it went from normal to nothing, like somebody shut a valve. No fight, no conversation. 1 month, everything was fine. And the next month, she was going to bed at 9 with her back to me and her phone charging face down on her side. And if I so much as put a hand on her shoulder, she had a headache before I finished the sentence. Everybody expects a man to panic right there. I did not panic. I had spent months looking for jobs after the layoff, and the job boards bleed into every other corner of the internet. And somewhere in there, I had ended up on Reddit at 2 in the morning, more nights than I want to admit. And on Reddit, there is a whole section of men telling the same story with different furniture. The comments dry up. The bedroom dies out of nowhere. The phone flips over, and every single one of those threads ends the same way. Everyone. So, when it happened in my house, I did not lie awake wondering what was wrong with me. I lay awake counting how many of the signs I could check off. I got to 6 before I stopped counting. But I did not say a word to her, and I did not say a word to my son. He was starting his last year of high school. He had college applications on his desk. Whatever was about to happen to this family, it was not going to happen to his senior year if I could help it. That was the one promise I made myself, and I kept it. Instead, I drove up to see my father. He is about an hour north of us, up where Georgia starts to get hills. My father is not a talker. He fixed lawnmowers for 40 years. I sat on his porch, and I told him all of it. The comments, the bedroom, the phone. He listened to the whole thing without one word. Then he set his glass down and he said, "Document as much as you can and start recording everything. If it is nothing, you delete it and no harm done. If it is something, you will be glad you have it." So that is what I did. And before anybody types the comment, I looked it up first. Georgia is a one-party consent state. If I am in the conversation, I can record the conversation. So the next time she stood in our living room and told me that some men would be embarrassed to let their wife carry them, my phone was in my shirt pocket and it was on and recording. I got that one. I got the one where she said the word pathetic twice in the same minute. I got the one where she told me maybe her father was right about me. I got the one from my son's award night at the school, the one she skipped for a client dinner. That folder, one would later explain, was not a client dinner, where she told me on the phone that somebody in this family has to work. 14 voice memos over about 2 months, dated, backed up 2 places, a notebook with times and dates for everything else. The notebook is where the client dinners went, and the late Wednesdays, and the weekend she came home with a new bathing suit in February. Yeah, it is an ugly way to live in your own house. I did it anyway. Then it moved outside the house. Once I had the pattern written down, the pattern got easier to see. She had a new gym bag. She had 2 work dinners a week, when for 10 years, she had maybe 2 a month. She started taking her laptop to get her nails done, which, if you know her, made no sense at all. And the agency has one office, and it is 20 minutes away, but her odometer was putting on miles like she was driving a route. The men on Reddit have a saying about this part: trust the pattern, not the excuse. The excuse always sounds reasonable. The pattern never lies. I could see the pattern. What I could not see was proof, and I knew better than to go find it myself by following her around like a fool in a movie. So I made the phone call I had been dreading, back up to my father's porch, and I asked my father for a loan. He asked what for. I told him the truth. I said, I think my wife is seeing somebody, and I need to hire a private investigator, and those investigators cost money, and I do not have that kind of money right now. My father did not hesitate. The man did not even blink. He walked into the house and he came back out with a check, and the only thing he said was, "You pay me back out of whatever comes out of this, and if nothing comes out of it, you do not owe me a thing for finding out. Your marriage is fine. $4,500. That is what peace of mind cost me here in Georgia, if you are wondering." I met the investigator that Wednesday in a diner parking lot. Retired law enforcement. He asked me for her schedule, her plate, her office address, in 3 weeks. I gave him all 4. 19 days later, he called and said, "You should come sit down." Same diner. He gave me 2 folders. I am not ashamed to tell you my hands were not steady when I opened the first one. Folder 1. A man who owns a commercial cleaning company, married, 2 kids. His company cleans office parks, and my wife staffs office parks, and they met at some Chamber of Commerce mixer, and for the last 5 months, their businesses had been having a lot of meetings. Mondays and Wednesdays, lunchtime, a lake house 40 minutes out that belongs to his family. The investigator had them on camera walking in together 8 separate times. He had time-stamped photos of her car at the gas station by the lake exit over and over. Folder 2, 26 years old. Looks like he is a bartender at the place her agency throws its client happy hours. 26. This one was weekends. This one was the trade shows she suddenly needed to attend in person after years of skipping them. There was a hotel. There were time-stamped photos of the lobby. 2 men, one married with a family, one barely older than a college kid, both of them at the same time, while she was standing in my living room calling me the embarrassment. I am not going to dress it up for you. It is one thing to know. It is another thing to hold the folder. But here is what I did not do. I did not drive to the lake house. I did not call the bartender. I did not go home and throw the folders on the counter and have the big movie scene. The threads on Reddit are full of men who did the big movie scene, and every one of them will tell you the same thing. The scene feels good for 1 hour and costs you for 10 years. She finds out what you have. She gets ahead of it. She gets to the money first. She gets to the story first. So I put the folders in my toolbox in the garage under the socket set, and on Monday morning I called a divorce attorney, not the cheapest one. He looked at the folders. He listened to 2 of the voice memos. Then he said something I will never forget. He said, "In Georgia, adultery that breaks up the marriage does not just hurt her in court. It bars her from alimony. She cannot collect a dime from you, no matter what her lawyer asks for." And then he looked at my layoff paperwork and her agency's numbers, and he smiled, and he said, "But alimony runs both directions, and you are the unemployed spouse of a successful business owner. You did not just catch her. You caught her while she owes you." I filed that week. The plan was simple. She gets served, we handle it like adults, and my son finishes his applications in peace. She had other plans, or no plan. To this day, I do not know which, because 4 days before the process server was set to go, my wife did not come home. No call, no text. Her side of the closet half emptied into a suitcase and gone. I called her cell and it went straight to voicemail. I called her sister, who is the only person in that family who ever shot me straight, and her sister said, "She told me she needed a few days. I thought you knew." Nobody else knew anything. Her own office did not know where she was. Her assistant was rescheduling clients and telling them she had a family emergency. My father called me every one of those nights, and on the 3rd night he said, "Son, you know where she is. You have known since the diner. Stop calling her phone." He was right. I stopped. That was the strangest week of the whole thing. I am holding 2 folders that explain exactly where my wife probably is and exactly who she is probably with. And I am also standing in the hallway outside my son's room, telling him his mother is at a trade show so that his week stays normal. 4 days of that. 4 days of him asking if mom was going to make it back for his senior night, and me saying, "We will see Buddy," and both folders sitting under my socket set the whole time. She walked back in on the 4th day with a tan and a suitcase and said, "I needed to reset." That was it. That was the whole explanation. No apology, no story, nothing to me and nothing to her son. She got back the day before his senior night, and she sat in those bleachers like a woman with nothing in the world going on, and nobody around us knew a thing. They called his name over the speaker, and we both stood up and clapped, and she put her hand on my arm on the way back down. First touch in months, tan still on it. I looked at that hand, and I thought about the gas station photos. She thought we were a family in the bleachers. I was counting the days she had left in that house. The card statement came later and showed a beach town down the Georgia coast and 2 of everything at every restaurant. I never did find out which one of them went with her, and I will be honest with you, by then it did not matter, because everything was back to normal for exactly 6 days, and on the 6th day, a Friday, a process server walked into the lobby of her staffing agency at 10:30 in the morning in front of her receptionist and handed my wife a manila envelope. My attorney's office texted me one word at just after 11, "Done." You want to know what she did? Nothing. She did not call me. She did not text me. She did not come home early and scream at me. The woman got served divorce papers in her own lobby and drove to her 2 o'clock like it was a dry cleaning receipt. Her sister told me she moved into the spare room at her mother's place that weekend, and she sent one text to my attorney's office asking where to send her lawyer's information. That calm rattled me more than screaming would have. I had planned for screaming. This was a woman who had already been somewhere else mentally, as you can tell. The paper just made it official. My son found out that weekend, not from me, and I can put my hand on my mother's grave and say that. She called him to explain her side before I had said one word to him, and whatever she said in that phone call, it went bad. He came downstairs afterward, sat down next to me in the den, and said, "I already knew something was wrong, Dad. I have known for a year." And then he said, "I am staying with you, and I do not really want to see her right now." His first college acceptance came in the mail 3 weeks into all of it. Big envelope, the school he wanted. He opened it standing in the driveway, and he handed it to me to hold while he called my father, and the two of them cheering at each other on the phone for 10 minutes. His mother found out from the school's parent newsletter. That is not something I did to her. That is just where everything had landed by then. I did not coach one syllable of that. She did it all herself, and then that one phone call finished it. Now, the divorce. I will keep this part short because the numbers tell it better than I can. Her lawyer came in swinging about her business, like the business was going to make me the small one in the room again. My lawyer put 14 voice memos, 2 folders, and a photo log on the table, and that swing stopped in the air. There is one moment from mediation I will tell you about because I earned it. Her lawyer asked for a break after the 3rd voice memo. It was the award night one. Somebody in this family has to work, played out loud in a conference room, with her sitting right there in a blazer. Her lawyer asked for the break. She was the one who left the room. In Georgia, her adultery caused the separation, which meant alimony for her was off the table before her lawyer finished asking. Then my side asked for it in the other direction. Unemployed spouse, 16 years of steady work, co-signer on the original business loan, the man who built the website and drove her to her first 2 clients back when that agency was a folding table. Here is how it ended. I kept the house. She kept her agency because it was worth more than the house, and that is how the math balances. And I did not give a fuck about her business. She pays me $3,500 a month in alimony for 7 years, and she paid every dollar of my attorney's fees. The man she called pathetic in our own living room now shows up in her books on the 1st of every month, automatic, like a light bill. And my son, Georgia lets a child who is 14 or older choose the parent they live with, and the judge takes that choice as close to final. My son was 17. He signed his election in about the time it takes to sign a receipt. He chose me. His mother looked at that page in a conference room, and, according to my attorney, that was the one moment in the whole case her face moved. The day the decree was final, she was already gone. She came back one time on a Saturday with her sister's SUV for the rest of her closet and some boxes. My son stayed in his room the whole hour. She stood at the bottom of the stairs with her hand on the rail, and she called up to him twice. He never came down to see his mother. She put her hand down, and she carried her own boxes out, and her sister would not look at me, and the two of them drove off, and that was the last time she was ever inside that house. One more thing happened after the decree, and I do not lose 1 minute of sleep over it. The cleaning company man, the one with the wife and the 2 kids, I sat on his name for the whole case because my attorney told me to. The day after everything was signed, I put copies of everything that involved him in an envelope. The lake house dates, the photos, the gas station shots. I mailed it to his wife with a 1-page note that said, "I am not asking you for anything. I just could not stand you being the only person who does not know." She never wrote back. She did not have to. Their divorce showed up on the county docket a few months later. The bartender got nothing from me. Life will handle him. So that is where everything stood. My son graduated in May, and his mother was not in the seats, and that was his call, because he never sent her the invitation. I am back working, claims again, for a regional outfit that still wants human eyes on the weird ones, and I will tell you the one detail in this whole thing that I did on purpose: the spare room. The room where her agency was born on a folding table is my office now. That room works for me now. The alimony lands on the 1st. My father got his $4,500 back the week everything settled, and he tried to refuse it, and I put it in his tackle box when he was not looking. And then, 8 months after the divorce was final, on a Sunday night in the middle of a Georgia summer, my phone lit up with a number I had never blocked, because I never thought she would use it. 4 words: "Can we talk sometime?" Here is what I already knew when that text came in. Her sister still talks to my father. Do not ask me why. Those two got along from the first Thanksgiving, and when everything blew up, her sister never picked a side. She just kept telling the truth to both houses. So I knew the bartender was long gone before the ink dried. I knew the cleaning company man went back and begged his wife and got nowhere, and he was never leaving his kids for her anyway, and she found that out the hard way. The agency is fine. The agency was always fine, but she is paying alimony, and she paid my legal fees out of it for a man she is not married to anymore, and the son she has not seen in almost a year did not call her on her birthday. Her sister says she regrets it, all of it. The word her sister used was regrets, and I am told she uses it herself now, out loud, to anybody in that family still willing to sit through it. Her sister's exact words to my father were, "She knows what she had now. Can we talk sometime?" I looked at that text for about 10 seconds. Then I deleted it, and Monday on my lunch break, I logged into my Verizon phone app and changed my number. Then I sent my new number out to my contacts that I wanted to have my new number. And on the 1st of the month, like every 1st of the month for the next 7 years, her payment landed. She never got the new number. Well, in some cases, as I have said before, just pay attention to detail. Sometimes the small things will creep up and bite you. But I like this guy's attitude. Not once did he show his hand. Even when she belittled him about not having a job, he kept his cool. Now, he gets $42,000 a year in alimony for 7 years. He is lucky. This does not happen for men. Georgia does not play if you can prove your spouse cheated or is cheating. Until next time.